Good morning. It's 11 a.m. on Saturday, January the 13th. And no, it is not Friday the 13th, Selden Ball. I'm going to get an audio check there. Got that confirmed. Then I'll unmute the system audio. Speaker bot is alive and well. Nobody in Zoom. I have...
Tony Wallow said, AVerMedia. Good.
Thank you, Tony. And over here, the well, let's do it on this one, because this is the way you see the subjects. Unboxing initial setup for HP Envy laptop. That's this guy right behind me here. And I think we're going to go right into that very quickly. Let's get back to this. The configure automated Mac remove FLECT. I don't think we're going to do that today, and not going to do that one today. But the idea there is, like we did with Josh Kimber recently on doing the less than secure configuration that's needed in a backup software. I have a few backup softwares out there among my clients that I want to implement that. I was wondering, can you use that less than secure code on multiple different computers, or is it a one-time use code? I don't know that. So I thought, well, I'll just try. I could go research it, but why not just try it? Then the AVerMedia Video Capture Card was a issue that is already resolved, and I might just show how that's done. I wanted to go ahead and resolve
Chris Garrett said, looks like he has a horrible product laptop, HA.
Okay. It was, oh, now you totally threw it through me. Oh yeah, I figured I need to get that fixed so that I can get a capture connection from here. And I'll bring up Zoom here in a moment, because I do have one Poison there. And he now knows that he's about to come on live and can mute his YouTube audio. Here we go, punching in 3, 2, 1, 0. There he is. Hello, Mike Wojcik. No, I'm not hearing you. Oh, wait a minute. I just got one more adjustment I need to make. One more adjustment. Actually, that shouldn't be the one. Okay, this way. Try it again, Mike.
How you doing, Doug?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Now, I'm doing fine.
I think, I'm not sure. The chat room might have heard you initially say something, and possibly I didn't. Yeah.
Well, I was just asking how you're doing.
Yeah, well, I'm doing good. Yeah, well, I'm wondering that because I'm not sure if my setting, let's see. No, the output, I had the speakers from Zoom going into my microphone, so I don't think that would have been heard by YouTube. Hello, William.
Hello.
How are you today?
Okay.
Now, do either of you have something to say before I get started with this horrible product laptop? That's Chris.
No.
Okay.
Have fun.
Right. Now, I will give by way of a disclaimer. I'm fine with HP products. I don't mind them at all. It's a joke that we call them horrible product, or it's a joke in my mind, maybe not in everybody's mind. But my client selected this and bought it and called me yesterday and told me she bought it, asked me to set it up for her. So when I went to pick it up this morning from her office, I didn't even know it was an HP, but not surprised. So this is, and I put into the video description the computer that it is. Now, when I went looking at HP's website this morning to try to pull up information on it, their website was not working for pulling up information based on serial numbers. So let's see, I don't think I have that serial number still in paste history. No, because I've restarted the computer since then. All right. So I'll read this out, and William, you could type it into my serial number field there if you would.
Let's see. I need to bring up your Zoom then. I mean the YouTube. One of the two.
C and D, and CND. Oops, somebody's got their YouTube audio
CND.
on. No,
CND. CND.
he thought I was serious. Okay, so now, Bill, I've muted you because you went to your the YouTube channel. I was joking about that, about you typing the serial number into my screen. I have you muted right now. You can unmute yourself when you get set back up. All right. Okay, so here I've put in the serial number, and then when I hit enter, it was saying it's not available. Enter your serial number. Did I not do the right one? 22342
Zvimanor said hello, everyone.
Hello, Zvimanor. Yeah, that's right. Go around for something else. That's not the results that I had earlier today. I think that's the right serial number, but we'll go get it from the label on the computer because this is that's saying invalid. But that doesn't sound like the one I had earlier. They also say product number, so let's try the product number. 7H9Y. 7H9Y. Why? Because we like you. 2UA. # ABBA. See if that gets anywhere. That gets nowhere. Or product name, they also say. See if we'll get it off of that. I don't think that's actually what they mean by product name. But anywho, all right, I'm going to go take a look at chat, and then I'll open up the box. I'm gonna run through this pretty quickly so we can get right into the laptop. Hello, Dennis. Hello, Dennis and Greg. Tony Wallow, thank you for the $1.99 super chat. Bill saying hello from Florida. People saying hellos to each other. Ida, hello everyone. Tonight my hubby and I will go to Culture Club concert. Cool. Can't wait to see him again. First time was 24 years ago. He was like a baby. Now we've all aged. Oh well. Jonathan, Ida, Rick Lakes, the Bronx. That was a typo. Hello all instead of yeah, hello, yeah. No trailer. Yes, there was a Lady Gaga trailer. If you didn't see it, it's because you came in too close to the show start time, probably. Work for me, refresh your page. Yeah. Greetings all. Chris Garrett. Let's see, am I missing some names? I'm not sure. I might have missed some names. My apologies if I did. Selden, Friday the 13th. Rick, Jonathan, essentially working too hard. Tony with AVDVR, good. Selden, Chris. Selden, no incoming ad on today's show. Oystein, hello. Ran Israel there. Jonathan, people saying good to see you. It's GTSY. Horrible product laptop. Oystein, winter mute Jonathan. We can hear Mike now. I didn't hear Mike's initial greeting. Thank you for answering that. Running late from Jim. Oystein, HP business products are great. Consumer versions not so much. Now this was, and I did not know this until I picked it up. It was purchased from Best Buy because there's a Best Buy label on it. So, and the label on it shows configuration information or equipment information, but does not indicate whether it's Windows 11 Home or Pro. So I don't know that yet. My experience with HP laptops is that the power cable plug and bottom casing always break one or the other. No more HP laptops for me. Well, the power cables are different from one model to another, so they do learn lessons and make changes to design of products. Jonathan Wintermude, demeanor, Oystein, Richard Rogers, hello. Getting through this pretty quick. Serial number takes me here. Okay, so Wintermute got something on the serial number. Yeah, I did not get to that. Let's get back to... Well, I didn't paste the... I didn't do a copy of the serial number anywhere, so I'm going to continue with chat. John Williams, good afternoon. I was given an HP laptop that was taken apart altogether. Now has a couple of issues. Headphone jack and one USB is bad. Oystein, nice find. To Wintermute. People saying hellos to each other. Brian Lightfoot, does Doug need to borrow my magnifying glass in order to read the serial number? I have one here. Maybe you should eat more carrots. Yeah, my last new glasses did not turn out good. I prefer these dime store cheapies. Rick Lakes, lost power 4 hours. Dennis sent you a last minute link from Bleeping Computer in her primary email. Speedy C. When you have problems with the power cable on a laptop, recommend reinforcing the link with the cable at the connector is probably causing the problem. Okay. So doggone common, I guess. We'll take a quick look at the email that Dennis sent. Microsoft shares script to update Windows 10 RE with BitLocker fixes. Okay, thank you, Dennis. I'm not going to go down that road right now. Now, let's get this puppy opened up. This didn't have any, this doesn't have any shipping address for my client, right? Yeah, there's serial number and part number. Oh, I don't have autofocus on that one. Let's see. Give me a moment on that. Thought I had the Logitune open. And is that going to autofocus? There, manual focus. Okay, if anyone wants to capture that, you could make a duplicate tab of this video and pause it over there and copy down that information. I'm not going to hold it long enough for you to copy it. Same thing on this side, which has configuration information about the computer. Now, I did find it interesting, this fine print. I read through that, and there's some interesting stuff there. So I'm going to go read that to you. See, I actually do have a magnifying glass. Multi-core designed to improve performance of certain products. Not all customers or software applications necessarily benefit from the use of this technology. So they're pointing out some of the cool features on this computer may not benefit all people. Well, that's where we've talked about what do you want to use the computer for. Performance and clock frequency will vary depending upon application workload and your hardware and software configurations. Intel's numbering, branding, and/or naming is not a measurement of higher performance. That's a good point to make. An i7 is not necessarily going to perform better than an i5. There's other factors involved. Depends upon what you're using it for, what generation CPU it is, and so on. They give the standard description about what they mean by GB. It's equals to 1 billion bytes, the way that they're doing their calculations. And let's see, where's the other thing that I found interesting here? High speed, battery hours they talk about. typical specifications. There was something else in here. Am I going to find it? Oh, they're talking about the actual formatted capacity is less. Up to 35 gigabytes of system disk is reserved for system recovery software. 35 gigabytes. Recently, we were seeing the recovery partition is around 500 megabytes. And they're saying here 35 gigabytes. And after thinking about it, I was thinking, oh, well, the manufacturer's recovery information is stored on your C drive, not in the recovery partition. So, whoops, why am I taking that away? We're going to open it up. All right. So, here's how it looks inside. They always spend, people make a lot of money designing these boxes. They've got this thing up here. The only purpose of that is to hold the computer down in this depression here. You know, it gives it some padding between the outside of the box. Got a pull tab here. It appears my client has not taken it out of the box or done anything with it. If you're noticing if you're hearing my phone give a timer once in a while, that's to help me help remind me to relax, because I've been having a lot of trouble this week with headaches. Nicely wrapped. The HP logo that way. There's no clasp when opening it. It's got a piece of paper there to protect the screen. I do not know how much she paid for this. The Bang & Olufsen, what, sub-brand, we'll call it. Let's see what else we got. Packet of critically important documentation. Be sure to read through all that before you do anything with the computer. Not. Nice small power brick. USB-C power connection. And the Mickey Mouse ears AC adapter. Is there anything else in here? Nope. All right. Rick Lakes looks like my HP laptop. This is a weird wrapping. Whoa, I missed. There. I've come across this sometimes when an AC adapter or some other component of a computer has a plastic wrap around it, and people leave it on thinking it keeps it looking nice longer, but it also keeps the heat in and can make this plastic actually kind of melt. Or
Jim KJ3N said, oh, look, it's horrible product day.
okay. Sometimes they have one of these marked for power input. There's a little dot next to that port. There's no Type-C ports on the left side of the computer. That's an SD card slot and a headset slot and a USB. The tongue in there is black. It says SS for super speed, so I'm sure it's a 3-point something port, even though it doesn't have a colored tongue. And then this side, the Type A USB is SS, and it has that lightning bolt signal, which I think means that it provides power to USB devices even when the computer is off. All right. Another part of the cable fell onto the floor. I bet somebody saw that happen. Brian Lightfoot, all plastic and cardboard everywhere. Any metal used on that laptop? I don't know what these, some kind of composite material that I think is at least some part aluminum. Just looking at the AC adapter to see if there's any light on it. No. Light on the computer? Yeah, the computer's showing that it is charging. Oops, gotta get that down so that you can see it. There it is. Light right there. And looking for a power button right there. Oh, I want to plug this in to my capture card and see if we can see the startup screen. Before starting the show today, I was concerned whether it might be a USB Type-C output for an external monitor. I wasn't sure if I had a cable on hand for that. And looking at the pictures on the outside of the box, I could tell that it was an HDMI. All right, now then, that will be, that's Baby Beast. Do I not have a button set up for that? I don't think I do. Capture 2. Yep, that does it. So I have the scene set up for it, but I don't have Stream Deck button set up for it. Power light on the power button. There's a HP logo. That did not come through. Checking Baby Beast has got that right. Try to capture 2 again. Nope. Hello, Jim in Zoom.
Afternoon.
Once you got your configuration changed for your AVerMedia Capture Card, were you able to get startup screens through the capture card before Windows
No,
was up? No. All right.
no, it's highly unlikely you're gonna be able to. This should show
Yeah.
up. I don't know why it's not.
No, it's not showing up at this point. So now I'm wondering if
Well,
let me go
you-
let me go try some
you-
other adjustments.
well, it's either that or you're gonna have to wait till the setup is finished and it loads the appropriate drivers.
See, there's a picture-in-picture. Somebody just came through with an.
It's the accessibility icon
Oh.
in the bottom corner.
That's the laptop talking to me. I thought that was somebody coming through the bot voice thing, streamer bot, speaker bot. Okay, now I want to check the configuration of the AVerMedia capture device and see if I've got something wrong there.
Oh, and one other thing. I assume you got the RE Central to finally fire up, correct?
I did. I had to uninstall it and download and install a new copy. And
Okay.
then I got into the
Okay.
HDCP adjustment.
Now, my other question is, did you disable it on both ports? Because you can disable that per port.
Yeah, I did it on both.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yep, there's nothing, there doesn't seem to be any other adjustments for me to make there. So I'm going to come back to what I call a keyboard camera and enter yes.
I
or-
suspect not until you've actually at least loaded Windows once and it has the right driver. Are you going to?
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm
Did you see where it shrunk for a second?
Yes, that is the right. The capture device shows that. That's an indication I see on Baby Bee. So let's go back and see if it's working now. Nope. But I think that is an indication the laptop is sensing that there's something out there trying to see the video.
Well,
I'm checking the buttons. Yeah, I just did that shrink again. Now that might
Ken
be,
Stoutlive said hello, Speed C.
that might be doing something else as far as display drivers. But it doesn't seem like it would be at this point. I don't see any of those function buttons for monitor settings. US keyboard, yes. Do you want a second keyboard layout? Skip. Let's connect you to a network. And I'll take that off screen while I put in that code. It's connected to the Wi-Fi. Next. See, I don't think we've seen an indication yet whether this is Pro or Home.
Ran Israel said local account or Microsoft
I'll
account.
lay odds it's home.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's Home. From a retail store, I'd expect it usually to be Home. This is going to be a local account. In response to Rand's question. And I've got a couple ideas in mind that we might experiment with. We'll go in pretty quickly to disable the encryption, as these computers typically come with that encryption partially enabled. I'm curious to see how much junkware, adware, what's the other word I was thinking about earlier today? Clutterware is on the computer by virtue of being sold through that retail store.
Bloatware, basically.
Yeah. I had one client buy a computer from Best Buy, and he bought the subscription to Microsoft Office, and that caused us a whole lot of trouble because the app that was pre-installed from Best Buy caused him to be buying that subscription through Best Buy. So he was forevermore tied to Best Buy for it. And then subsequently, he used his custom domain work address for it. And we subsequently subscribed
Chris
to
Garrett
Microsoft.
said, it having a 35 GB HP recovery, it gonna have a bunch of bloat.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's...
Zvi Manor said
true.
if you want local account, connect with no password. Any you want to skip?
Yeah, there's a few ways to do that. I was going to use a@a.com. And where was I going? Oh yeah, so we wanted to subscribe to Microsoft Office for the entire office. Well, the subscription that he got through Best Buy was through them, and it was a personal account, and it was a total nightmare to get him divorced from them. Took a few years to get that completely ended. So we got more of that shrinking and coming back. I'm going to go check the capture device again.
It's like it's half detecting it, but not quite.
Yeah. So nope, it still's not working for the capture. Accepting the license agreement after you guys read through it and decided it was okay. Device name, I do typically like to name it because I don't like the generic.
Speedy C said not a fan of glossy screens on laptops.
I don't like the generic names that they give. Now I'm not reading out or repeating the SpeakerBot messages that come through. The people in Zoom aren't hearing those. So when you hear me pause for a little bit, it might be because there's a SpeakerBot playing, as there have been recently. Now, what do I want to do for this? Do I want to? No, you know what? I will name that later. But I typically do name them, put a name that's applicable to the client or the client's use. But I'm going to skip that for now in this case. Yeah, I don't like the glossy screens either. Speedy. Unlock your Microsoft experience. Oh, this is going straight. Well, a sign-in button is the only thing it gives me at this point. No way to close it. So I'll go to sign in and at
the shift F10 doesn't seem to want to work in home.
Yeah, I'll try the Shift F10 here. Oh, it did work. Shift F10 worked here. It opened up a DOS window anyway.
You're gonna have to go through the whole thing again.
No, I'm not going to do that. A@a.com. See if that one now. Let's see. Now, this did not ask if I want to use this for business or personal use. That is my first clue that I think is telling us that this is a Microsoft Windows Home. Now, it does have a left arrow up here in the upper left. I'm going to take a look at that. No, that just takes us back to the unlock experience. Okay. A@a.com. And there's a sign-in options. I'm going to look at that before I go further. Forgot my username, sign in with a security key. No, none of those. All right, so here, trying the A@a.com. And it's going to a password, just put in any kind of junk. Oops, something went wrong. Next, and then username. And I've got some, I'm intending to do some experimenting with this. So I'm not actually putting in the client's username yet. I'll probably be doing that off of stream. Location, I typically like that. Not find my device, not inking or diagnostic. tailored experiences. I let that go through. Register and protect. I'm just going to click next without doing that. Remove the check mark for HP may use my information about my system to provide me with customer support. Enable PC to show HP contact options, warranty information important. Actually, that's kind of okay. We'll take that. HP may use information to improve HP products and services. No.
Ken Stout Live said Greg replied.
HP may use contact details and information about my system to send me personal offers and news. So I think this was Ken Stout telling me to look at Greg's reply. Why are you giving me a speaker bot telling me that Greg replied? I got no idea why you're telling me that, Ken. Oh, what happened?
Ken Stout Live said, no, I was telling Greg I replied.
You were telling Greg you replied? All right, that's not something you should be using SpeakerBot for. SpeakerBot is for getting my attention on something. Then we got checking for updates. Yes, really, Ken.
Chris Garrett said Shift F10 skipped online account. Must be older version.
No, I didn't use the Shift F10 to skip the online account. I just demonstrated that Shift F10 does work on this. I did not use that technique. Long Dog to Jim saying, I'm curious about something. What is your thoughts on installing programs while you're doing active computing, like being online and having things running in the background? I do that. I'll do other things while software is installing. Go ahead.
Yeah, pretty sure everybody does that.
Yeah. If it's a low-powered computer, I might not.
Well, okay, yeah. If you're running Windows 10 on 4 GB of RAM and on a spinning hard drive, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
maybe you don't want to do that.
Yeah. I'm going to check the capture card again. Nope.
Now you're going to have to give it, it's going to have to get past this. When you get to the desktop, hopefully it'll kick in.
We're at the desktop now. I think I'm going to need to tell it to use this. Oh, there's the image just went small and then big. See if that worked. Nope. Try pulling the connection out of the HDMI port and putting it back in. Yep, that did it. So that makes me wonder if I could have done that earlier in the process during
Possibly.
Yeah, even tried during the setup, because I'm thinking what's happening when you're plugging in the HDMI cable, that there's a initial communication of that connection. And if it might be that we can do that at some point during the initialization of Windows and get it to work. Maybe. Okay, so then I have a wireless keyboard and mouse here that I'm going to connect. That way I can look forward to Big Beast Build and the camera and the microphone for the rest of this work. Now, here we're going to run into the old problem of which keyboard and mouse to use. All right. Windows key R, appwiz.cpl. Get into programs list. Oh, that's not a long list at all. There's a couple McAfee items to remove, and remove the Microsoft 365, which might be keyed to Best Buy. My client in this case wants to subscribe to the individual Microsoft Office license. So I will be doing a new Microsoft license, but that'll be with her personal email address. I won't be doing that on stream. Yeah, that's not bad at all. If this had a long list of clutterware, then I was gonna look at doing a reset to manufacturer settings using the internally built edition of that to see if it would install clean. And the alternate level to that would be to use a USB memory stick to install Windows 11 fresh. But I don't see any need to do that. Now, apps, there might be a bunch of
Oh, there's going to be at least 3 or
apps.
4 HP things in there. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
And
So
when it comes to
for-
McAfee, I remove that with extreme prejudice.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, I want to get to, it's settings and then apps to get to that list. Settings, apps, installed apps, AV video connection, calculator, camera, Clipchamp, clock, Cortana, so far not bad. Dropbox, promotion, so I want to get rid of that so it doesn't keep bugging her to use Dropbox. Energy Star, family, feedback hub, get help, HP command center, connection optimizer, documentation, enhanced lighting, diagnostics, HP pen, HP smart, support assistant, journal, mail and calendar, maps, McAfee, media player, Microsoft 365. This really isn't all that bad.
Maybe they learned a few lessons over the years.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't see this as all that bad. And being a personal use computer, I'm not going to uninstall everything that's not needed. I'm going to uninstall everything McAfee. And the Microsoft 365 that might be tied to Best Buy. Even if it's not tied to Best Buy, I prefer to download from the new subscription. Lawn Dog, I'm not going to go to Revo uninstaller to get rid of McAfee. No, it uninstalls pretty nicely from basic uninstallation methods. Let's go look at the encryption. Windows key and then data encryption, device encryption settings.
Yeah, this was the one that surprised me. I was completely surprised that on Windows Home installation, the drive was encrypted.
Yeah, I've seen that. Been seeing that for all of the Windows 11 that I've worked with that come from a manufacturer. BitLocker drive encryption.
Yeah.
Now this is different. That's not what I want.
Yeah, it's not quote unquote not technically BitLocker, but it's something else.
Yeah, it's drive encryption is somehow based on the same underlying code as I understand, but it's not technically called BitLocker. So this is related. This is a related section. This is not the drive encryption. This is the drive encryption up here, and it's currently turned on. So
Ran Israel said device encryption.
Yeah.
Oh, and before you do that, before you actually do that,
Yeah.
pull up disk management, because I want people to see that it literally
Yes.
is an
Okay, we'll do that. Yeah. Yeah, and that is actually why I didn't go there, because I want to point out some other things about this device encryption. Now here we have a confirmation. This is Windows 11 Home. It is 22H2. Now 23H2 only became available October 31st of 23. So I'm not at all surprised to not be seeing 23H2 yet. I think it would take more months than what we've had so far before that'll be coming with new computers. And then we got this: sign in with your Microsoft account to finish encrypting this device. So at some level, it's not fully encrypted, and we don't have an unencryption key. And I'm curious, I don't think I'm going to try it this weekend, but I'm curious to take one of these computers at this point and try to access the content on that drive without the encryption key. For instance, if I restart the computer with a Macrim Reflect USB, will I be able to access the content on the drive at this level of encryption, whatever that may be? More extreme test of this, I'm not eager to do it on a laptop, but on a desktop computer, would be to take the drive out and connect it to another computer through a USB connection and see if we can access the content on the drive. Because it's saying, let's see, to finish encrypting this device. It currently is encrypted at some level, they are implying, but is actually protected at this point with encryption. That's a piece that I'd be curious to test. I don't think I'm going to be testing that this weekend, but disk management is where you noticed it, where Jim noticed it, and here BitLocker encrypted. This makes it appear that it is completely encrypted.
Yeah, like I said, that surprised the hell out of me when I saw it. Yeah.
This piece over here where it says finish encrypting, that's the thing that makes me scratch my head. Is it encrypted or not? Are you pregnant or not?
Either way, I turned it off.
Yeah. So, and that's just turning it off right here. Turn off device encryption. If you do this, your files won't be protected. Decryption can take a long time. Not likely going to take very long with brand new drive.
Not on a fresh install.
Yeah. Now, I very possibly might not be going back to read through all of chat messages. So if there are chat messages that you want me to go see, that's where I'd like you to use the speaker bot to draw my attention to it. And ideally, give a time increment where the chat comment is that you want me to read. Okay, Lawn Dog says the first time he's heard of this problem is because of Jim. I've talked about it a few times in my videos. Now that, okay, so that's done.
VManner said KB5034441. Only new installation, resize the partition where the RE is to 900 MB, and then restore partition key back from backup solved it.
That KB thing only applies to 10 as being a problem.
I've seen the documentation saying it's 10 and 11, but the difference is that the one for it's a different KB number. It's one digit difference.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's 3440 is for the other version of Windows. And I've seen a few instances where people say it's only for Windows 10 or they say it's only for Windows 11, but we pulled up the documentation a few days back on my weekly show, my daily show, that showed it was for both versions. And that makes sense because the recovery partition is what does the repair to damaged Windows installation. Microsoft isn't going to want to have multiple different editions of that out there. There should be some consistency between those. So it makes total sense that it would be
consistency
for both.
Consistency.
versions.
Microsoft.
Well, okay. But
Oh, you funny man. You funny man.
I'm making the case that they are giving an illusion of consistency, perhaps.
Okay. I'll concede that.
All right. So here I'm back to disk management to show that there's no encryption showing here. All right. Well, that is basic initialization. Now, I know some people are moving the start button to the left and getting rid of things here that people who are really accustomed to Windows 10 would like to have. I do not automatically do that for my clients, and usually they're not requesting it. They're getting along just fine with this. And when I call into a client's office and I ask them, are they Windows 10 or Windows 11, the ones that have the start button in the middle.
Ryan Israel said, I see McAfee icon on taskbar.
Yeah, we'll get to McAfee in a minute. The end users in an office can easily recognize whether they're sitting at a Windows 11 or Windows 10 based upon the location of the start button. So I like leaving it in the center. Okay, well, let's go to deal with the McAfee stuff, since that was just noted. We'll go to apps and uninstall it from there, and I do not expect that to uninstall it from the programs screen. Installed apps over here, and I could have just gone to the programs menu and uninstalled it from there too. So down here to McAfee and the 3 dots and uninstall. No thanks. I don't want to tell you why. And
that's right. Just go away.
Yeah. Goodbye. I'm not going to restart now. I'll do it later. And then there's a Microsoft 365 ENUS. So I'm going to uninstall that, but I'll go through the programs menu for that. Go to all apps. Click on the A. That way I get alphabetic letters. Click on the M so I can get to Microsoft. I'm looking for Microsoft 365 in here. Is it not in here? Microsoft Store, News. No, I don't see it here.
Yeah, for anybody who cares to know how we really feel about McAfee, go look at my video I did on Tuesday.
There's uninstall. Dog, the error code you just put in is actually a KB number, a knowledge base article. But it seems to me that the error code that comes up when that problem occurs is the KB number, which I thought was odd. Ready to uninstall. So ready.
I was ready before I boot up the computer. I'm ready to get rid of it. Thank you very much.
All right. I'll say hello to Bobby Warren over here in Zoom.
Hello. Zvimanor said 0x80070643.
Yeah, that's a more legitimate looking error number that Zvi came up with. Get the right mouse, Doug. Back here to the capture card. Well, Doug, this whole thing is odd in the context of what is being told what the problem is. Yeah, well, I don't find it odd at all. I find it, somebody should have their wrists seriously slapped at Microsoft for not realizing that they were going to have a problem with that update to the recovery partition, because most computers don't have a large enough recovery partition to accept that update. And that update was to protect people against a vulnerability that has been discovered for a computer that has encryption enabled. And in order for that vulnerability to be used by an evildoer person, they have to get physical access to the computer. So it'd be pretty rare that somebody's actually going to experience loss due to that vulnerability. Done uninstalling, closing that. And did it actually go away? Yeah, it's no longer on the, oh, that was, no, that's OneNote. Okay, so now let's go into AppWiz and see what's still here. See, here's Web Advisor by McAfee is still here, but the other McAfee item is gone by virtue of
web thing too.
Pardon me?
I get rid of the web thing too.
Oh yeah, I'm going to. But I just am interested to have noted that the McAfee also removed from here, and that it even showed up there in the first place. It's still a little fuzzy to me, the distinction between programs and apps. Apps that come from the App Store don't always show up here in this programs list, and you can tell that right off the bat because this is a much shorter list than that installed apps list. So here we'll uninstall Web Advisor. Keep web protection, no thanks, just uninstall it. Got to pay attention to what the buttons say, because sometimes it's on the left, sometimes it's on the right to do what you want. You successfully uninstalled, that was quick. OneNote and OneDrive, I typically will leave those on. Those come with Windows. They are also available through Microsoft 365, but it's kind of cumbersome to go reinstall OneDrive after having uninstalled it here, and I haven't found any disadvantage by keeping this. Microsoft Edge WebView, I haven't researched that at all. I typically leave that. HP documentation is not going to be a nuisance. HP connection optimizer, that I don't know if that'll flare up and cause annoyance to the customer. I haven't come across that, but I'll leave that there for now. All right, then what else we go to? This desktop button, I like to remove that because very few people that I've ever come across use that. I know somebody in our community uses that. But my concern is if a customer has programs open and such, and they accidentally get into this new desktop, it just as they're moving mouse around, sometimes a finger will click accidentally on something, and that could be just so quick and easy to click on this new desktop and actually get switched to a different desktop and not realize it, and then we get a call saying, hey, I lost all my stuff, where is it? That's in. So task view, that's what that is. When I turn this off, then that goes away, and then that one is the chat. I also remove that because I don't know anyone that's using that. And then widgets, I think is that piece off to the left, isn't it? Yeah, down in the bottom left. Because that kind of, when I ask somebody, is the start button on the left side or is it in the center? Some people will think that's the start button. So, and just because it's pulling in more content over the internet, I'd rather have that off. Search box, I'm kind of like it with having the search box down there, but I don't like this extra piece right here because that's bringing in other content from the internet. And it is, where was that turned off at? Somebody's going to remind me where that turns off.
Ran Israel said, I like to add the small settings button to the start menu, like in Windows 10.
The small settings button to the start menu. Okay, so I think what he's referring to is going to the start menu. There's settings. Windows 10 would have a narrow window with settings on that window that pops up. I'm not quite sure what you are referring to, Rand, but I think I'm going to prefer to leave these. I don't remove things from here. I don't see that that causes any performance issues.
Ran Israel said, I mean next to the shutdown button.
Next to the shutdown button here, there's a sign in options. Is that what you mean by settings? Next to the shutdown button. Yeah, I'm still not following what you're suggesting. These dots on the right hand side of this menu is indicating different pages on this menu. Let's see. If I click on that little dot, does it go to the top one? Oh, the scroll wheel just scrolls through it. Okay. The notification area, let's turn off my picture-in-picture. Oh, I don't have buttons.
Ran Israel said, right-click near the shutdown button, go to Start Folders, enable Settings button.
Okay, we'll go see what you're referring to. Right-click near the shutdown button. The power button, and right-click near it. Oh, Start Settings. Click near it, go to Start Folders, enable Settings button. Folders, go to Start Folders, help with Start. Thinking this is what he's referring to. Start Folders, enable Settings button here. And then close that. And what did that do? Oh, put a Settings button here. I did not know that. What else do we have there? File Explorer, Documents, Downloads, Music, Pictures, Videos, Network, Personal Folder. So, do these turn on there too?
Ran Israel said Windows 10 style.
Okay. I'm a little bit stretching to think of that as Windows 10 style because it's not down here on the taskbar, but I like that. I like that option. Okay, let's get back to what I was looking at over here. I'm going to turn off the picture-in-picture and go to the notification area. Right-click on the blank area of the taskbar settings, and then let's see, open system tray, taskbar behaviors. Taskbar alignment, no.
Ran Israel said in Windows 10 it's stacked vertically when you click Start.
Yeah, it is stacked vertically, so, but it's not here. So how do you say that that's Windows 10 style? Was that another option in here that I missed? But again, I don't want to.
Ran Israel said, because now it's there.
But it's not vertical. It's not Windows 10 style. Okay, let's move on past that. Can we move on past that?
All right. What about things starting up on boot? Do you usually crawl in there and look at anything?
I don't know that I'd call that usual. Once I have the programs trimmed down, oh, there's some junk in here. Let's look at that. Cortana is disabled. HP SEU host launcher is enabled, not measured. That sounds suspicious to me. I might want to get rid of that. Microsoft Teams, I definitely uninstall. We didn't get to that. Microsoft Edge is enabled. So Microsoft Edge enabled on startup, I think, makes it launch quicker, but slows down the reboot time. So we could disable that. My HP system tray, I'm not a big fan of that. That's probably down here somewhere. I don't see it. Oh, is it this one? No. That's there because I have Task Manager open. I don't see an HP system tray. It says enabled. Go disable that. Omen Gaming HP background. Oh, that sounds like something worthy of disabling. It's already disabled by default. OneDrive I'll leave because we'll be using it for this client. RTK, I don't know what that is. Those both are enabled. System Health, Systray, that's okay. I'll leave that. So no, nothing much here other than Teams, but that is something I'm going to uninstall anyway. And Teams uninstalls pretty quickly. And if we keep rebooting the computer, it starts auto-launching. So is it actually, yeah, it is actually launched already. I'll go ahead and quit that.
Ren Israel said Realtek Audio.
Realtek Audio is one of those that I was looking at. Yeah, that makes sense. Teams is not showing up in the programs list. It is on apps. Let's go settings, apps, installed apps. Microsoft Teams. Now, when it shows up on the programs list in AppWiz, it typically shows as Microsoft Teams, and it shows up as Teams machine-wide installer. And when if you create a new user account, it will automatically install Teams for that other user. So I want to come down here and see if it's also in the T's section. No. Has a very quick uninstall, does not require a restart. Now, does it still show in startup items? No, it's gone. Okay. Did you find other things on that one you did recently, Jim?
No.
From startup tab? Yeah.
No.
It's not been my habit to go in there.
Well, it's my habit to go in there, but I didn't find a lot. And I think finally we're getting to the point where these guys are learning that, you know, we really can't have all this crap always loading up.
Mm-hmm. Now here's where we turn on the rest of the system tray icons so they'll show up without having this hidden icons button, but they don't have a way in Windows 11 to just say display them all, which means if there's more icons that become available from software that you install subsequently, you have to come back in here and turn them on. You'll get that hidden items menu again. I would have preferred for them to give us an option to turn them all on, have them all display. Another routine for me is to go into notification settings. Now, I can right click on the notification bell icon down here and choose notification settings, or left click on the bell, which should give me the pop-up menu, and come into manage notifications. Let's see. Yeah, notification settings. And I want notifications off. I typically don't want them to see any notifications, but I'll remove the check marks for the sub items and then turn notifications off. And there's no other apps. Oh, here's additional settings. Yeah, show the Windows welcome experience after updates when signed in to show what's new and suggested.
That's the boxes.
That's a nuisance when an update comes along and somebody restarts their computer and they get these other messages trying to. One of the things it tries to do is get them to sign in with a Microsoft account. Well, turn that off to stop at least some of those nuisance situations from happening. Suggest ways to get most out of Windows and finish setting up this device. That's also going to try to get them to use a Microsoft account. Tips and suggestions when using Windows. Don't need those pop-ups happening. And most of the time I think people are finding them a nuisance and they just try to click them away. Startup app notification. This is off. Yeah, these notifications are off. And then audio banners and sounds. These are notifications. So notification banners showing up in the bottom right corner. I want to look to disable any sub items that are under here. Priority of notifications in notification center. Normal's fine. Not going to have sounds playing. Not going to have notifications in the center. Not going to have notification banners. Now, if you rely on Windows to give you notifications for your subscribed YouTube channels, then you may be wanting those notifications turned on here. Do not disturb. Notification will be sent direct to notification center. Okay, so that's going to stop a notification pop-up from happening. So that one on is okay. Turn this one off. And there's a down arrow there for the sub items. Oops, I'm going to go back and turn that on and turn these off. Show reminders, incoming VoIP calls, notifications on lock screen, notifications to allow notifications to play sound. Turn all that off. And then you still see the bell icon down here because I didn't clear the currently listed notifications. So come into here and up in the top right, clear all. Okay. In Windows security, virus and threat protection, they want us to set up OneDrive. I will be doing that, but I'm going to go ahead and dismiss this. Account protection, sign in Microsoft for enhanced security, dismiss that. So we don't have an exclamation mark showing down there anymore. Then I think at this point I'm ready to start installing whatever I want installed for the client. Typically I'll do Adobe Acrobat Reader, Google Chrome, unless the client's using something else. Most of mine are using Google Chrome and Edge for their work. I'll also get rid of the shopping cart, Microsoft Store. If somebody needs the Microsoft Store, they can still get to it. This doesn't uninstall it. It just removes it from taking up that real estate down there. So unpin that, and also this HP Support Assistant. Right click and unpin that. And then this looks like it's, oh, my HP, unpin that. And I didn't get rid of this one yet. Where do I get rid of that search? That should be taskbar settings, isn't it? Search box. Thought it was going to be in here. If I hide that, it completely goes away. Search icon only gives the magnifying glass, icon and label. Oh, that's it. Icon and label rather than search box. I thought that used to have, I thought that had some other indicator there of whatever they call this extra widget thing down here. So going to search icon and label gets it to the search field that I personally like. Search highlights. Wintermute says that's what it's called. But
Ran Israel said that's in Windows 10.
that's in Windows 10 for removing that? Okay. I thought it was called that in Windows 11 too. But that is search highlights, is it not? It's just not called that here. So maybe Windows 10, it actually uses the word highlights to specify it. Float over it, NFL playoffs, left click. There's a 3-dot menu. Does that take it off? Search settings might be there. Well, how about that? They're giving us 2 opportunities to add a Microsoft account. So kind. Oh, Cloud Content Search, Microsoft account. Allow Windows Search to provide results from the apps and services that you are signed into with your Microsoft account. Work or school account. Allow Windows Search to provide results from the apps and services you signed in with your work or school account. I think those are kind of irrelevant in this case. Oh, here's search highlights. Okay, can I do that here? If I turn that off, does that turn off this search highlights? Yes. Okay. That's even more better, because this search field I can type in. That other, when it's just the icon and the name, I couldn't actually type there. All right. I know another thing that people in the community talk about a lot is using VLC. That's kind of a sometimes thing for me to install for clients. Let's see, Rand says thanks. All right, what else? There's a lot else that I do for my business clients. This is going to a personal use of a client who works in an office. She bought this for her own use. So it's not going to get the same treatment as my business office clients. I will be putting on my remote connection software on this computer, but I don't see a reason to do that during this live stream. I know what I'll do. So I'll go look at my checklist. When I'm setting up a computer for clients, I typically follow this a checklist. I'm not doing it off the top of my head like I've been doing here. And it has some content in here that's specific to clients, I think. I won't be doing Macrim Reflect on this computer because the drive is too small. We will be using OneDrive for backup of their user content. Oh, let's see what happens on a restart and getting into BIOS with the captured card. Change advanced startup options. Try it that way. I could have done hold down the shift key while clicking restart to get that option. Advanced startup. I'm going to ask it to go into BIOS setup. Oh, we never did even look at updates. Updates have been happening in the background. I sometimes will trigger updates to start installing when I get to the desktop, but only if I'm not intending to work on the computer right away, if I'm going to take a little break. In this instance, where updates were installing in the background, even though I never actually asked them to do that. I'm pretty sure they were. Okay, I have choose a startup option. So this is not coming over the capture device. That's disappointing. Use the device, continue troubleshoot. Go to troubleshoot, advanced options, UEFI firmware settings, and restart. Clicking back to the capture device, no go. I got a startup menu and F10 for BIOS setup. Clicking back to the capture device, and it's not there.
No, it's not going to be.
Yeah, can't say that I'm surprised. Disappointed, but not surprised. It's 8 gigabytes of RAM. Most of the people in the community would have chosen higher, but again, I wasn't involved in selecting the computer. But that's probably going to be fine for her. Anything else here we care to look at? TPM device is available. TPM state enabled. Clear TPM. No. Of course, it's TPM because it's Windows 11. Could there be any video setting in BIOS that might let us get through to a capture card?
Highly unlikely.
I've never seen it, but you know, certainly it could be done. And I say it could be done because I've had some laptops that when I connect them to a capture device, the image comes over the capture device first and doesn't show up on the built-in screen. So if some laptops can do it, then any laptop could do it. And there could be options to control it. It's showing the username, still no capture. There, capture comes up when it got to the desktop. I'm suspecting it would have come up at the login prompt. I'll try logging out. Sign out. Oh no, not even. Oh, there it is. It took a minute. It took a few moments before it came up. So the lock screen is showing over the capture device. All right, I'll go to chat. If you got any questions or interest in pursuing with this computer, put it into chat. I'll kind of go backwards on the chat this time. Ski Man, mostly use taskbar icons. Okay, not to mention if you map other computers, you can access it from this PC at the same time. There's probably some conversations going on in here between people in chat. This PC in the start menu, Windows 10, right click, you'll see an option to put it on the taskbar. It's just a copy. I do like the my computer or this computer icon on the desktop. Wintermute to ran Israel method 3. What's this about? Oh, this has to do with search highlights, search highlights. Turning it off in the registry editor. Yikes. That seems like a overkill way of doing it.
And you got to be careful when you start doing things like that.
Yeah, if something can be done through the operating system, I'd rather do that than the registry.
Yeah, the first things that you should always suggest to people with things that even a monkey with a mouse can do.
Yeah.
You don't want the average consumer going anywhere near the registry, for God's sake.
Yeah. See,
You have a rock in the end.
Rand says it goes into his customizer script. Yeah, customizer script, is that some utility you're using to do a bunch of startup initialization configurations, or is that a checklist that you follow? I don't know what you mean by customizer script. Louis Kuhil is giving us a method for hiding that update that's having trouble with. I did notice it on a couple of client computers. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just leaving it because Microsoft will fix that. It's not presenting any nuisance to the client. The only reason why I think you would want to hide it at all is if you just don't like a failed update showing up on your list. It's not like it's going to keep trying to do that over and over and interrupt your day, as far as I know. Computer icon on the desktop. All right, well, let's go do that. Back to the capture card, get the right mouse here. And the method that I would do that, and I just keep going back to the methods that I'm so accustomed to doing. I think I was starting that out through personalized themes and desktop icons. When this is full up, has a desktop icons right here, and that comes out as a separate window. And choose this PC. Well, no, don't need to click on that, just do this checkbox. So there's these items that have been available to select this way in Windows 10 and Windows 11. I don't recall if it was available to do it here in prior versions of Windows, perhaps. And that puts this PC right here. Another thing that I do, it's routine for my client, my business clients, is once I've installed everything that we want for them, I'll go to sort by and sort by item type, not by name, but by item type, because that always puts this PC or my computer in the upper left corner. Why not enabling Defender right now? Why not enabling Defender right now? It should already be enabled. Once I uninstall McAfee, it should automatically be enabled. Now that was a chat message that was in there a while ago, so maybe you've already done that. Account protection and wrong place. Virus and threat protection. Virus and threat protection settings. No action needed. Going to manage settings. Real-time protection is already enabled. Cloud delivered is enabled. All of these are enabled. So, is there something I was missing there, Brian? Take a look at where we're at with updates. My habit is to go into Windows Update Settings. There's check for updates, no updates available. We'll continue to check daily for newer updates. And looking at history, January 13th, these were installed today. Come back here and click check for updates, see if it comes up with any others, and look to see if there's any optional updates. That's in advanced options, I think. Brian says that was before other actions were taken. Okay. Now here's a bunch of updates going. So even though it said there's no other updates, you need to keep clicking check for updates until it says there's no others. We saw it when we did that last restart, a message indicating it was installing updates. Those would have been the ones that had been downloaded at that point in time. Once those had been installed, there's other updates that we're now qualified for. So we want to keep clicking check for updates and restarting the computer until that check for updates says there's no other updates. It's still 22H2 from Rand Israel. I've seen some computers not updating to 23H2. Does this show 23H2?
I'll bet you it's not on the list. I had the same problem with this one.
Yeah. I don't see 23H2 as being pushed. 22H2 is still supported. So we don't have to be moved up to 23H2 at this time. If you're an early adopter, you could go seek it.
Early adopter, it was released at the end of October?
October 31st. Yeah, well, the early adopter is not really a fair way to call it. Early adopter, using that term, would be looking for the ones that are in preview mode. But I don't think it's going to be pushed to any computer until 22H2 is getting closer to no longer in support.
Well, I don't know.
It's not a security update, and actually it has this 22H2 has all of the features of 23H2. It's just that they're not enabled in 22H2. 23H2, those new features are enabled by default. And the documentation I read on the difference between 22H2 and 23H2 for Windows 11 is that it's just in turning on features that are already there in 22H2. Now, this restart now, I've had times where I see an update that's just stuck on a percentage number for a long time. And I'll go ahead and click on restart now, and it appears to me that whatever that one that seems to be stuck goes ahead and installs during the restart. And I have the impression that the overall time is, you save a little bit of time by clicking the restart when something appears to be stuck. Now this one says downloading 7%. That's not stuck on installing. The way these most commonly work, as you'll see, various updates downloading and then installing, and they'll be going in random order based upon the size of the updates, I'm deducing. So this one's installing, this one's still downloading at 7%. That's a cumulative update, so that's a larger update. And that's January for 2024, so that's the most recent monthly update. All right, now the screen just blanked out and then came back. That might be, is there a display driver in these updates? Might have been installing a display driver update. Yeah, here's an Intel Corporation display, but that one's installing currently. There's a firmware update. Okay, I'm gonna look back at chat a little more. Look at the most recent. Oh, did we turn off fast startup? Good question. That's on my checklist, and no, we haven't. Sometime the update window stops refreshing. I usually close and reopen it. From Ran Israel. So while that's running, there's another black screen. Is it coming back? Yeah, and the screen actually went black on the laptop, not just the capture device. Fast startup. Let's go through settings, find where to get it through settings. For fast startup, know my method for Windows 10. I would think it's in system, power and battery. What the power buttons do. Adjusting power and sleep, power mode. Power and sleep, so no, it's related support. Power consumption, carbon, no, screen and sleep. Let's try just typing fast startup. No search results. Power buttons. No. Okay. Try going my old way. Right click on the desktop, personalize themes. Let's see, desktop icon settings, background, no, not that one. Oh. System, power and battery, power consumption, carbon emissions. No. Oh, that's interesting. In this screen, I can't escape out of it. Start without your data. Welcome to Microsoft Edge. Stay up to date by bringing your browsing data from other browsers? No. Start without your data. Is this just trying to go into Edge? Stay up to date by regularly bringing in your browser data. I already said don't do that. Confirm and continue. Continue. Assigning to Google to continue. Continue without this data. It's trying to get my Google data into Microsoft Edge. Make Microsoft Experience more useful to you. Remove that check mark, confirm and start browsing. All that just to get into Edge.
You know what would improve my Microsoft experience? If they'd stop bothering me with their Microsoft experience.
All right, so control panel, change the category to small icons, and power options, and change what power buttons do. And here's turn on fast startup. So that's the method that I know through Windows 10. So I'm trying to learn the Windows 11 method, but I don't know how do you get to this through Windows 11. Is it not even some of the Windows 10 panels? I know that they weren't available in the early days of Windows 11. Are they still not available? Is there a Windows 11 method to get through to this screen? This is obviously an old style screen. Now this turn off fast startup, I can't remove that check button because I first have to click up here on this thing that says change settings that are currently unavailable because they're grayed out. So click on that, and now this is available to turn on. I'm turning off fast startup by removing that check mark. Fast startup means if you shut the computer down by going to the power button and choose shutdown, that does not accomplish a full shutdown of the computer. It's kind of a hybrid of hibernation, where it shuts down the user side of...
Ran Israel said, does right-clicking on the battery icon in the system tray still gets you to this screen?
I'll try that in a moment, Ran. Good idea. Yeah, so I've had people ask them, have you restarted your computer when they're having a problem? And they say, yes, I turned it on this morning because I turned it off last night. Well, now wait a minute. Did you shut down yesterday to turn it off, or even today when you restarted, did you shut down? Some people say, yes, I did shut down because that's more thorough than restart, right? No, not always, not if this is turned on. So if we want to truly shut the computer down when fast startup is enabled, then one of the methods you can use to do that is Windows key R and shutdown space /S for shutdown space /T for timeout, then like 3 for number of seconds for it to shut down, and that'll do a full shutdown. I believe I've typed that, I've recollected that correctly. So anyway, here we're turning off fast startup. Sleep is available in the power menu. I use Hibernate on Big Beast Build and Baby Beast because they are power hogs. And this one is to show the count picture menu on the lock screen. All right, so there is that. Oh, somebody asked, was it Ran? Right click on the battery icon. So we'll go back and check that. Right click on the battery icon. Let's turn off that guy's picture because we don't need to see him. Right click, battery icon, power and sleep settings. All right, this gets into a Windows 11 screen. Screen and sleep. Does this get to a place for fast start up? And I'm thinking that in a recent, well, maybe within the last 6 months, a Windows 11 update changed that. I think prior to that point, you could right click and get into that Windows 10 style screen that we were just in. Let's see, we already looked at that one. Yeah, see, we've been into this screen. So Ran, I think that answers your question. Am I right? Try typing in fast startup, see what comes back in the search window. And Rand says, yes, that answered his question. Well, I did search fast startup from the settings screen. I didn't do it from here on the search, on the Windows taskbar search field. Spell it right. That's getting a magnifying glass for search. Open start command prompt. Type the following command to enable hibernation. That's all. That's power config for hibernate. Power config. I wonder if that would do it. POWRCFG. If that gets us where we want, I think that would get us to the Windows 10 style. No, it gets us into the Windows 11 style, right? Power CFG. Well, it doesn't get us anywhere because I bet that's a DOS command. Is it? Yeah, I'll power config and then give parameters. So that doesn't get us into a configuration window at all. Gray Wolf says, surprised you don't use Uncle Carrie's Windows Optimizer for some of your settings changes. I bought the Uncle Carrie's Windows Optimizer. I used it a few times and then decided I just felt more comfortable having my hands on the controls myself rather than using the optimizer. If you were doing computer setups more frequently, it might be more suitable. I found that every time I was going to use it, I was reconsidering each of the options for that setup. And making those settings changes were things that are quick enough that I get through them pretty quickly when I'm setting up a new computer. So although I like the tool that he created, I did not find that I wanted to use it much. And yeah, Wintermute confirms that that was a DOS command for power config.
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, hello, who's there? William? Oh, are you talking to somebody else maybe?
Yeah. Wait a second, I gotta mute the mic here.
All right, I got you muted, William. He's got somebody else there to talk to. Scrolling back in chat, see if there's anything else to pick up on topics. Getting close to shutting down. Rick's saying he doesn't have Windows Defender in his sys tray. That's interesting. Speedy's asking, will you be making a system image after you add client applications in case user accidentally does something to cause you need to wipe the system? Yes, I will. That's a routine thing for me. I have, backup external drives that I routinely will make an image for just about any computer that comes in here. And I'll often make the backup before I do whatever work that I'm intending to do. Goes into customizers. Okay, Rand was answering my question. It goes into my customizer script, my version of Uncle Carrie's optimizer done in PowerShell. Okay, so this is a tweak you're doing for Uncle Carrie's optimizer? All right, well, that's pretty far back in chat. I'm not going to try to get all those. Okay, so Wintermute, try powerconfig.control panel. That sounds promising. There's a lot of .cpl commands that can be used. I do not often go into them. Let's see, appwiz.cpl is the one you've seen me go into a lot. So Windows key R powercfg.cpl. Yeah. Oh, good. And there's choose what the power buttons do. Now, why you go to choose what the power buttons do to turn on or off fast startup, that never made sense to me. Here's power buttons and turn on password protection. Wait, what? Turn on password protection. What is here? What in here has to do with turning on password protection? Choose the power settings that you want for your computer. Changes you make to the settings on this page apply to all of your power plans. Define power buttons. That makes sense. Power, sleep, and closing lid. And turn on password protection. Does anybody see what in this screen has to do with password protection?
Ran Israel said if you want to enter a password when the computer wakes up,
if you want to add a password, well, on this, not present. Yeah, but there's nothing here to require a password. I know that option if you want to require a password when the computer wakes up, but I didn't see any option there for doing that. Let's see, personalize, and then lock screen status. Well, not the lock screen, but screensaver.
Ran Israel said when the computer wakes up or resumes, you can have the user enter his password to open the computer.
Yeah, but that option wasn't on that screen. I know that is a feature. Here's on resume from screensaver, for instance, you can display logon screen where you'll have to enter a password. But over here in this screen for choose what the power buttons do, when I click into here, this is turn on password protection. Where is that? These are what the sleep button's going to do, what the power button's going to do when I close the lid, turn on fast startup, sleep in the power menu, hyper. There's nothing here about requiring password when you wake up from sleep. Saying it's essentially two working hard, says it's the lock screen by turning that on or off. This says show account picture, show in account picture menu. That sounds like it's just lock, show in account picture menu. I don't know what that means. That's been there forever. I haven't seen that there forever. What does that mean? Lock, Wintermute says lock equals password protection. So if we don't have that set there, of course I don't have a password set, so I have to go set a password for that to happen. Let's see, Control Alt Delete. Did we get that method for change of password? Yeah, change of password. User, the old password is nothing. New password is a lowercase a. Confirm that is a lowercase a. Oh no, he gave away what the password is. So now there is a password, but we removed that lock option show in account picture. Okay, well, here I'll just do Windows key L for lock. That should lock it. Now, do I have to enter the password to come out of this? Yes, I do, even though I removed that check mark. So by removing that check mark, what did that change? Lock, show in account picture menu. Account picture menu. So is this account picture, and what is an account picture menu? I don't know. I don't know. All right, if you got something else to respond to about that, give that to me quickly. Otherwise, we're going to shut down here. Anybody in Zoom got something else for us to deal with before we shut down? That's going to be no. Wintermute says, changes the vertical menu in Windows 10 Start button. Top item is user account picture. Okay. Doesn't account picture menu apply only when there are multiple accounts defined? All right, what I'm thinking that implies, that might be something here, is when we come here to the Windows menu, and the account picture would be this right here. There's no user, there's no picture for this user, but that would be the account picture. So now when I click here, there's sign out. Okay, when we have that check mark, lock will be an option on this menu. I think that's what's going on. That kind of makes sense. Let's go see if that's what it is. How's my squirrel ranking right now, Jim?
Not too bad.
All right, so now let's see it. Does that get us the lock option here? That's it. That's what it is. Arnold Albert says, yes, that's it. Okay. All right. On that note, oh, here we've got a restart indication, the orange on the power button here. And this red down here, that's something else. I'm having trouble playing the music. That's because I wasn't talking to you. So I need to turn off that picture-in-picture so you can see what this pop-up menu is, or pop-up message. On this red dot, your device is at risk of being out of date. It will need to restart to install updates. So it's just giving us a red dot here rather than that orange. We'll go ahead and restart it and then do another check for updates. This one's update and shutdown. This one's update and restart. It says estimate 5 minutes. I doubt that it's going to take that long. Update's underway. Let's see how long the screen stays up.
Oh, that'll stay up till the reboot.
You're there. You're 2% there. All right, so final verdict, that option about lock was just for the lock option to show up on the username on the start window. I still want to call that the Windows button the start button because it used to be labeled start. When was that? Windows 95?
I think also XP and possibly 7.
Yeah. And the criticism there was Microsoft gives us an operating system where in order to shut down, you have to click the start button. How much sense did that make? Well, then they got rid of that, and people like me still calling it the start button. I had a support call with a client, probably about a week ago, that I asked him to press the Windows button on the keyboard, and it took a little while to get him to that key. My guess is that, the screen's not visible anymore. My guess is that he was looking on the screen for the Windows key. And I told him it's 2 keys to the left of the space bar. And he repeated that back as though he's writing it down. Two keys left of the space bar. I mean, it sounded like he was writing it down. And we finally got to it. And I said that it might have the letters WIN on it. It might be a picture of a window or a symbol of a window or 4 rectangles. Some people aren't going to recognize those 4 rectangles as being a window. Ran Israel asking what kind of SSD is in that machine. And Wintermute responds with 256 gigabyte NVMe. Not sure of the brand. Yeah, and Wintermute got that from the configuration information from HP's website, I'm sure. You're 97% there. Oh, that did not stay on the capture card. This is still that percentage screen. Not visible on the capture card. Let me go back and click on the capture card and make sure. Nope, it is still there. It must have gone away briefly, and I switched to the keyboard camera.
Well, it did a reboot. Once it hits 30%, it reboots.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, this is on the upswing side. So for the brand of the NVMe, what's my quickest way to get to that? Will MS32 give us that? I don't know if that would be reliable. I don't think that's been updated. I think that's just a legacy information that's still there. Ran Israel is saying PowerShell command. Is that PowerShell command to find out what the brand of the NVMe is? If you got a quick way for me to try, I'll do it. Device Manager, Crystal Disk Info, or CPU ID or CPU Z. That gives a lot of component
John Williams said
information.
Device Manager.
Yeah, I see that suggestion for Device Manager. We'll take a look at Device Manager because that's quick and easy. Wintermute saying System Info, Components, Storage Disks. We'll give that a shot. Here we've got nothing more on the capture card. Another reboot in progress. There's a lock screen. Clicking on the capture card. Capture input. Oh yeah, I did a password. I'm glad I didn't put in something more complex because I wouldn't have remembered it. Okay, let's start with Device Manager. And then disk drives. Coaxia.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's I think Paul's Hardware has featured that in advertisements on his channel, I think.
Paul's Hardware.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Kioxia, yeah.
Go here to
It's one of the it's one of the newer names. They're coming. They're up and coming.
All right. Well, I think that answers that well enough then. And although, let's see, Device Manager was another system info components, storage disks, as suggested by Wintermute. System info, are you saying, oh yeah, you are saying MS Info 32. Spell it right. System info component storage disks. Yeah, same thing there. Okay, let's shut down. I got the Zoom screen back up and ask you guys to say goodbye to the audience.
Good night, Gracie.
Bye, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Goodbye. Thanks for hanging out. And ending Zoom. There's the email address if you'd like to send email with picture of what's going on your computer, error message, whatever issue you'd like to get some feedback from myself in the chat room. That's the primary thing that I want this channel to be about, and so you are invited to do that. And that'll do it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Goodbye.